In a small village, surrounded by lush green fields and towering trees, there lived an old woman named Grandma Mira. She was over 80 years old, with silver hair and kind, wrinkled eyes. Despite facing countless hardships in her life, losing her husband early, raising children alone, and enduring financial struggles, she was always smiling and full of joy. People in the village often wondered, how is Grandma Mira always happy, no matter what happens? One day, a young man named Rohan, who was struggling with his own problems, work stress, family issues, and a constant feeling of sadness, decided to visit her. He had heard that she knew the secret to happiness. He knocked on her wooden door, and she welcomed him with a warm smile. "Come in, my child. What brings you here?" she asked. Rohan sighed. "Grandma, I see you smiling every day. You have faced so many difficulties, yet you remain happy. How do you do it? What is your secret?" Grandma Mira chuckled and handed him an empty glass. She then poured a spoonful of salt into it and filled it with water. "Drink this," she said. Rohan took a sip and immediately spat it out. "It's too salty," he exclaimed. Grandma Mira smiled and then took him to a nearby lake. She poured the same amount of salt into the lake and said, "Now drink this water." Rohan hesitated but took a sip. This time, the water tasted fresh. The salt was no longer noticeable. Grandma Mira then looked at him and said, "Problems are like salt. Their bitterness depends on the size of the container they are in. If your heart is small, even a little suffering will feel unbearable. But if you expand your heart, like the vast lake, the same problems will no longer trouble you." She continued, "Happiness is not about avoiding problems, but about making your heart bigger, more accepting, and more forgiving. Every difficulty teaches us something, and every situation is an opportunity to grow." Rohan sat there in silence, absorbing her wisdom. He realized that his problems weren't the real issue, his perspective was. From that day on, he decided to widen his heart, accept life's challenges, and find joy in small moments, just like Grandma Mira. And so, the secret of happiness spread through the village, all thanks to the wisdom of an old woman who had learned to turn life's salt into a vast, peaceful lake. Happiness is not the absence of problems, it's the ability to deal with them. Expand your heart, and life will feel lighter.